Welcome to the world of science fiction Neon's Alien. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new story from Neon's Alien universe. The battlefield was dry and dusty. Red sand blew across the open field. Alien warships hovered in the sky, watching from above. Giant screens showed the ground below where the human soldiers stood in neat lines, ready for battle. On the alien side, thousands of warriors stood tall, some with armored scales, some with forearms, some with glowing eyes. Their muscles were large and their weapons looked sharp and deadly. They had come from different planets to watch this human trial. They believed it would be a short, funny fight. At the front stood General Zorak, the leader of the alien coalition army. He had green skin like rusted metal and his mouth stretched wide as he laughed. "These are the famous human fighters?" he shouted, pointing at the humans. "They look so soft. Where are their horns, their claws, their wings?" The crowd of aliens burst into laughter. Some held their stomachs. Others wiped tears from their eyes. Even the alien reporters laughed while filming, but the humans didn't move. Captain Reyes stood at the front of the human squad. His face was calm, serious. His soldiers stood behind him in perfect order, holding rifles and wearing light armor. Reyes slowly looked at the laughing aliens. His voice was cool and steady. "You think we're here to impress? You?" he asked. "You haven't even met the real team yet." General Zorak stopped laughing. "Real team? What do you mean?" Reyes spoke into his earpiece. "Deploy them, now." The aliens laughed again. "Is that your backup? More soft-skinned soldiers?" Zorak mocked. But then, the ground began to shake. It was light at first, a soft rumble under the dirt. The alien soldiers looked around, confused. A few raised their weapons. "What is that sound?" asked one alien. "Maybe a ship?" another guessed. "No," said a third. "It's coming from the ground." Suddenly, from the far end of the battlefield, a cloud of dust rose into the sky. From within that cloud came a low, powerful growl. Then another, and another. General Zorak stepped forward, squinting into the distance. His smile faded. Out of the dust storm came dark shadows, fast and low. Then they became clear. Dogs, not normal dogs. These were massive war dogs, muscular, armored, and focused. They ran in perfect formation, their paws hitting the ground like thunder. Each had a visor over one eye and each wore a vest marked with the Earth Defense Force logo. There were German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, Dobermans, strong breeds, specially trained. Some carried small gear packs, some had armor plates, but all had sharp eyes locked on the enemy. The aliens gasped. "What are those?" one whispered. "They're animals?" "No," said another alien in fear. "They are hunters." The dogs stopped in a perfect line in front of the human soldiers. Not a single bark, not a single movement, just calm, trained discipline. Captain Reyes smiled now. He walked up to one of the dogs, a big black shepherd named Ghost. He patted the dog on the head. "Good boy," he said. "They're all yours." Ghost let out a low growl that sent chills through the alien army. The growl seemed to shake the air. The other dogs joined in one by one until the growl became a unified threat. The aliens were no longer laughing. General Zorak's second in command, a beastly creature with 6 arms, stepped back. "Sir, perhaps we underestimated them." Zorak's jaw clenched. "They're just beasts, primitive tools. This is still our victory." Captain Reyes heard him. He looked at Zorak and said, "These beasts are more than tools. They are family, and they never lose." Reyes raised his hand. "Hunt." The dogs shot forward like missiles. They moved as one, fast, silent, deadly. The alien soldiers panicked. Some fired their plasma guns, but the dogs zigzagged, dodging each shot. One dog leapt onto a 6-legged alien, knocking him flat. Another slid under a mech suit and bit the control wires, disabling it instantly. Ghost led a pack straight toward General Zorak's guards. Zorak watched in horror. He saw warriors, 10 times larger than these dogs, fall within seconds. He shouted, "Form defense lines, stop them!" But it was too late. The battlefield had changed. The aliens had come to laugh. Now they were the ones running. The battlefield was no longer quiet. Smoke from weapons and dust from running paws filled the air. Screams, growls, and heavy footsteps echoed across the ground. But then, everything froze. A deep, thunder-like growl rolled through the sky. Not from any of the dogs already fighting, but from somewhere else. Something bigger was coming. The alien warriors looked around in confusion. Even the dogs paused, their ears perked up, their heads turned toward the horizon, all in the same direction. From the far side of the battlefield, a massive gate began to open. It was an armored transport truck, earth-made and heavily secured. The sides dropped down like ramps. Steam hissed out from the inside. And then he appeared, a single dog, but not just any dog. He was taller than the rest, with dark gray fur, eyes glowing blue from his cyber implants, and armor thicker than most aliens wore. His name was Titan, the alpha of the Earth's combat canine unit. Alien soldiers stepped back in fear. "What is that?" whispered a warrior with trembling hands. Titan stepped down from the truck slowly, his movements calm, but full of power. Each step sent a light vibration into the ground. A metal plate on his chest read, "Titan, rank, Commander Class." Captain Reyes stepped forward. He whistled once. Titan looked at him and nodded, not barked, not growled. He nodded, like he understood the alien army was stunned. "This beast follows orders?" one shouted in disbelief, but it was worse than that. Titan didn't just follow orders. He planned. He led. He thought like a soldier. General Zorak watched from a tower. His claws dug into the metal railing. This can't be real. A dog leading a unit? A screen beside him showed Titan running into battle, not wild like a monster, but sharp and tactical. Titan stopped beside a trapped human squad and barked 3 times in short bursts. The dogs nearby instantly changed position, flanking the enemies from both sides. Reyes spoke calmly into his comms. Titan's engaging plan echo, clear a path behind him. One of the alien generals tried to charge Titan with an energy blade, yelling, "You will not make a fool of our kind." Titan didn't run. He waited. At the last moment, he leaped sideways with speed impossible for his size. He landed behind the alien and clamped his jaw onto the warrior's weapon arm, crushing it in one bite. The alien fell, screaming. The watching aliens were silent now. No one laughed anymore. In a command tent, a young alien officer looked at his tablet, his hands shaking. "These creatures, they don't just attack," he said. "They coordinate. They're like living machines." An older officer grabbed the screen. "No, worse, they're living partners." Meanwhile, Titan had pushed deeper into enemy territory. He found alien turrets hidden under rocks. One bark. A squad of smaller dogs brought explosives. Titan placed one carefully with his teeth, then ran back. A remote blast destroyed the turret. An alien sniper tried to target him from above. Titan looked up, growled, and vanished into smoke. Seconds later, the sniper screamed. Titan had scaled the rocks and taken him down silently. Back on the field, Captain Reyes watched with pride. "Titan doesn't need to win the fight," he said to his second in command. "He shows the others how to fight." The alien soldiers started dropping their weapons. Some raised white flags. Others simply ran. General Zorak could not believe it. "This is madness. These beasts are destroying centuries of honor." Reyes looked up at him through his visor. "No, this is what happens when you mistake loyalty for weakness." As the dust cleared, Titan stood tall at the heart of the battlefield. Around him, alien soldiers lay defeated or surrendered. The human dogs didn't bark in celebration. They simply returned to formation, standing proud, waiting for their next order and Titan. He looked straight at the alien war tower and growled. The aliens now understood. They had not just fought humans, they had fought with man's oldest ally, and they had lost. The air was thick with tension. No one spoke. No one moved. Alien weapons were raised. Human rifles were ready. The dogs, silent and still, waited like coiled springs. Then, without warning, a plasma cannon fired from the alien side. The beam shot through the air like lightning, but it didn't hit a human. It hit the ground in front of the dogs. A clear message. The aliens were done watching. Captain Reyes didn't blink. He raised 2 fingers into the air and pointed forward. Titan, standing at the front, gave a single, short bark. That was the signal. The battlefield exploded into motion. The alien soldiers roared and charged in groups, giants with energy swords, lizard-like beasts with bone armor, insect-like warriors crawling on all fours. They believed their speed and strength would crush the humans in seconds, but the humans didn't flinch. And the dogs? They moved first. Ghost and Max, side by side, were the first to strike. They zigzagged across the field, dodging blasts with expert precision. Max leapt high, grabbing an alien by the throat midair, bringing him crashing down in one clean move. Another dog named Blitz shot through a group of 3 aliens, biting legs and spinning mid-run to avoid being hit. The aliens didn't know what to do. They tried to strike, but the dogs were too fast, too smart, too fearless. On the left flank, Titan was already deep into enemy lines. A 6-armed alien roared and swung 2 axes toward him. Titan ducked, rolled under the attack, and pounced onto the alien's chest with both front legs. His weight knocked the warrior flat. Then Titan bit down, not to kill, but to disable. The alien screamed, dropping his weapons. Titan didn't waste time. He moved to the next one. A group of alien flyers tried to escape by air. Titan barked twice, sharp and loud. 3 dogs turned their heads, each with jetpack harnesses on their backs. Earth had prepared for this. The jet dogs took flight, chasing the aliens mid-air like hawks hunting prey. One latched onto a wing, sending a flyer spiraling out of the sky. Meanwhile, Captain Reyes was leading a small squad of soldiers toward a tower that controlled enemy surveillance. He was flanked by 2 dogs, Shadow and Bear. Laser shots rained. Down from the towers. "Bear, smoke," Reyes called. Bear pulled a pin with his teeth from a canister on his side and tossed it toward the tower. Smoke filled the air. Under cover, the humans advanced. A second later, Bear rushed ahead and tackled the enemy gunner before he could adjust his scope. Reyes placed the explosive on the control panel. Boom. The tower's screen went dark. The aliens were now blind. Back at the center, General Zorak watched the chaos unfold. His elite champion, a tall beast with a molten blade, charged into the field shouting, "Enough! I'll end this circus!" He was nearly twice the size of any dog. Titan met him head-on. The champion swung once. Titan ducked. Twice, Titan rolled aside. On the third swing, Titan leapt forward, pushing off the ground with all 4 legs, landing on the champion's chest. He didn't kill him. Instead, Titan looked him in the eyes and barked, a warning, a challenge, a message. "I could have ended you." The champion dropped his weapon. He backed away and knelt. All across the field, aliens began to retreat. They didn't run from fear of death. They ran from humiliation. They were warriors trained in combat. But these creatures fought with something more dangerous than claws or lasers. They fought with heart, with loyalty, and with perfect unity. Aliens had laughed at humans. Now they stared at them in silence. One alien soldier fell to his knees, whispering, "They fight together, like one mind, one soul." And above it all, Titan stood tall on a mound of dirt, his head raised high. He howled into the wind. The first clash was over, and the aliens had learned a painful truth. This was not Earth's weakness. This was Earth's strength. The alien soldier froze. "That dog," he whispered, backing away. "It's not just watching me. It's studying me." The battlefield had changed. Alien warriors, once proud and fearless, now moved slowly, scanning every shadow for movement. The human dog teams had broken their confidence, but the battle was far from over. In the middle of the war zone, Captain Reyes checked his wrist display. A signal blinked on the screen. Unit K901A now online. He smiled. "Release her," he said, softly. A soldier opened a special transport container near the mobile command unit. From the shadows stepped Nova. She was unlike any dog the aliens had seen. Not large like Titan, not fast like Blitz, but something different. Nova was a sleek, white-coated dog with silver markings on her fur. Her eyes glowed violet, not from cyber implants but from genetic enhancement. She had been trained not just for battle, but for intelligence warfare. She could recognize faces, decode alien symbols, follow scent trails across miles, and even operate basic control panels with her paws. Nova was Earth's secret weapon, used only in missions where thinking was more powerful than biting. Nova stood still for a moment, listening. Then she ran, not toward the battle, but toward the rocky canyons behind enemy lines. A drone followed her silently. On the alien side, inside, a steel fortress bunker, a group of commanders argued. "We must regroup," one shouted. "No," said another. "Activate the flame gates. They'll roast anything that gets close." "Flame gates?" the first asked. "You mean those old defenses?" "Yes. They still work. They're locked behind our language code. No human can break it." But the screen on their wall blinked. Code detected. Gate access granted. They stared at it. "What? Who?" The room's door burst open, and Nova walked in. Not barking, not growling. Calm, precise, deadly. The commanders panicked. One raised a shock blaster. Nova jumped sideways, bouncing off the wall like a blur of light, knocking the weapon from his hand. She landed smoothly, pressing a pressure pad with her paw. Gas vents released overhead. Then, blackout. The lights went out. Screams followed. When the humans entered the bunker 5 minutes later, they found all the alien commanders unconscious, tied together with their own utility wires, and a datapad placed gently beside them. Nova sat beside it, wagging her tail. On the datapad's screen was written in translated alien language. "Next time, send someone smarter. News of what happened spread across the alien lines like wildfire. They have a ghost," one alien whispered. "No, not a ghost. A mind. The white one. She doesn't fight with teeth, she fights with knowledge." Even General Zorak grew pale when he saw the footage. "She bypassed our locked systems?" he asked. "Yes, sir. She read the symbols." His technician stuttered. "She read them?" Zorak roared. "That's impossible. She's a dog." But no one had an answer. Reyes did. "She's a reminder," he said, "that Earth's strength isn't just muscle, it's intelligence, instinct, and heart." Later that day, Nova led the charge into the alien data tower. Alone. The tower's defenses were built to stop armies, but Nova dodged laser tripwires, leapt over autocannons, and disabled doors by paw press codes she had memorized after only one glance. Inside the tower, she uploaded a virus that shut down alien satellites. The aliens above the planet went blind. No radar. No communication. No control. All because of one dog. Back at camp, Titan and Ghost watched the skies grow clear. Nova returned with not a single scratch. Captain Reyes bent down and scratched her ear. "Good girl," he said with a grin. "You just saved the whole operation." She wagged her tail once and walked calmly to her place beside the others. In alien history, there were stories of terrifying monsters, godlike warriors, and beasts with fire in their blood. But now, a new legend was being written, of a silent, white ghost that walked through walls, broke into mines, and never barked twice. Nova, the dog who outsmarted a galaxy, and the aliens had no idea what Earth might send next. An alien captain screamed over comms, "They're everywhere, we shoot one and 3 more take its place." His answer came through static. "Run, just run." The battlefield was no longer under alien control. It had become a storm of sharp fangs, loyal hearts, and unstoppable teamwork. The aliens had started this fight with pride and power. Now, they were hiding behind broken shields and fallen towers. Captain Reyes stood on a ridge, watching through his visor as Titan led a strike team into the northern sector. Dust clouds followed them. Alien mechs fired wildly, but the dogs stayed low, fast, and unpredictable. Each unit of human soldiers moved in sync with their dogs. One gave hand signals, another reloaded weapons, while the dogs flanked, bit, and pulled targets into traps. This was not chaos. This was strategy. Down below, Blitz, the fastest dog, darted through a narrow corridor filled with mines. His vest had a signal jammer, which shut down the mines' sensors for 10 seconds. Just long enough for his squad to follow. An alien shouted, "They've learned our system!" Another cried, "They're inside our mines!" But the truth was simpler and far scarier. The dogs didn't guess, they remembered. Every pattern, every ambush, every sound. They worked like living maps, always one step ahead. On the west side of the battlefield, a massive alien tank rolled forward, 30 tons of steel and fire. The soldiers inside laughed. Let's crush their pets now, but they didn't see the tiny shape moving beneath their hull. Nova. She crawled under the tank carrying a single EMP device strapped to her back. With one paw, she pressed it against the underside, and then she ran. Boom. The tank went dead. Its lights flickered. Its weapons stopped. Seconds later, Max leapt onto the disabled tank and dropped a smoke grenade through the hatch. Human soldiers swarmed in. The tank was captured without a single shot fired. Farther north, Titan faced his hardest challenge yet. A towering alien war beast, half flesh, half machine, was tearing through trees with a plasma axe. It had taken out 2 defense towers in minutes. Titan didn't hesitate, he ran straight at it. The war beast roared and swung its massive weapon. Titan ducked. Then he jumped, higher than any dog should be able to jump, and landed on the beast's back. With his teeth, he ripped out wires. With his paw, he triggered a shock baton strapped to his vest. Electricity surged. The beast screamed and fell. Titan stood on top of the wreck like a true king. In the skies, the alien fleet tried to retreat. But it was too late. Nova had disabled their comms. Titan had destroyed their ground support. Ghost had cleared their bunkers. Blitz had cut their escape paths. And the humans? They were already taking prisoners. Back at the alien command center, General Zorak punched a control screen in rage. This was supposed to be a show of alien strength. How did they turn this war upside down with dogs? A shaken alien advisor whispered, "They didn't just bring dogs, sir. They brought faith." Meanwhile, Captain Reyes stood in the heart of the battlefield. He looked around. Alien weapons lay scattered. Alien warriors sat on the ground, hands raised. Human soldiers moved forward slowly, weapons lowered. And the dogs? They stood like statues beside their humans, ready if needed, calm if not. The tide had turned, not with blood, not with hate, but with loyalty, with intelligence, with courage. Reyes knelt beside Titan and whispered, "We're not done yet, but we've shown them the truth." Titan gave a quiet huff, and then looked up at the alien sky. It was time the galaxy understood. You don't win wars with fear. You win them with trust. And no one understands trust better than a human and his dog. The bullet hit Captain Reyes in the chest. His body fell back. Everything stopped. Except one dog, who ran through fire without thinking twice. The battlefield was nearly quiet now. Most alien forces had surrendered or escaped. Smoke drifted in the wind. Human soldiers moved carefully, clearing out bunkers and gathering prisoners. Titan and his team remained alert, ears up, eyes sharp. Captain Reyes led a small team through a narrow canyon where strange symbols glowed faintly on the rocks. The place was cold, silent, and wrong. "We're not alone here," Reyes muttered. Nova sniffed the ground and growled low. Suddenly, a shot rang out. A plasma round ripped through the air, hitting Reyes square in the chest. He gasped and dropped. "Captain down!" shouted, a soldier. The team scattered for cover, looking for the shooter, but someone else moved before all of them. Max. The brown and black dog sprinted toward Reyes, ignoring the warning cries, ignoring the heat of the plasma fire around him. He didn't care. His human was hurt. Another shot fired, missing Max by inches. A third burned the ground near his paw, but Max didn't stop. He reached Reyes' side, whining, licking his face, nudging his vest, trying to wake him up. Reyes coughed, barely conscious. You came. Good boy, Max growled. And then something changed in his eyes. This was no longer a mission. This was personal. The enemy sniper hid behind a rocky pillar. He charged his plasma rifle again, but Max was faster. He looped wide, moving low and silent like a shadow. He leapt from behind a pile of debris and tackled the alien, knocking the rifle from his hands. The alien tried to scream, but Max clamped down on his arm and yanked him into the open. A human soldier finished the job with a stun blast. Reyes lay on the ground, blood trickling from his armor. The soldiers carried him to safety. A medic patched the wound, burnt but not fatal. You're lucky, she said. Just a few inches higher and… Reyes didn't answer. His hand reached out and grabbed Max's fur. He smiled weakly. I knew you'd catch me. Just like always. Back at the base, word spread fast. Captain down, but saved by his dog. Titan barked once as if sending a message across the battlefield. The dogs all paused, then howled together, a long, deep sound that echoed through the canyons. Even the aliens heard it, and they felt something strange. Respect. Later that night, Reyes lay in the medical tent, his chest wrapped. Max sat beside him, never moving, eyes always on the door. A young alien prisoner walked past with food supplies. He stopped when he saw Max. That creature, he said, risked its life to save just one human? A soldier beside him nodded. He'd do it again tomorrow. But why? The alien asked. The soldier smiled. Because that's what love looks like. In the alien fleet's last communication before retreat, General Zorak gave a single order. Withdraw. We underestimated their weapons. But worse, we underestimated their hearts. As dawn rose over the scorched battlefield, Reyes slowly sat up in bed. Max rested his head on the captain's lap. You're not just a partner, Reyes whispered. You're my shield, my legs when I can't walk, my voice when I'm silent, my brother. Max wagged his tail once and closed his eyes. That day, a new symbol was added to the human army's flag. Not a gun, not a helmet, but the paw print of a dog. Because in this war, it wasn't just soldiers who turned the tide. It was loyalty. It was sacrifice. It was a bond that no alien could understand, until they saw it with their own eyes. The battlefield was silent. No guns, no shouts, no more running. And then, an alien warrior dropped to one knee in front of a dog. The sun rose over a broken planet. Ash floated through the air like soft snow. The war was over, but the pain still hung heavy in the sky. Dead weapons lay across the sand. Bunkers were empty. Alien flags burned quietly beside human tents. Captain Reyes sat outside the medic tent, his chest still bandaged. Max sat beside him, never far, not even for a second. From the ridgeline above, Titan stood tall, watching the enemy camp. But something strange happened that morning. The aliens came back. One by one, alien warriors appeared on the hill. Some limped. Others were bruised and burned, but none carried weapons. General Zorak was with them. His once shining armor was cracked. His pride was gone, but his eyes were calm. He walked to the center of the human camp. All soldiers raised their weapons. But Reyes lifted a hand. Wait. Zorak stepped forward slowly. Behind him were dozens of alien fighters, heads lowered, silent. He reached Reyes. Then, to everyone's shock, he dropped to one knee. I did not come to fight, Zorak said, voice rough. I came to apologize. Reyes blinked. Apologize? Yes. Zorak nodded. We mocked you, laughed at your weapons, your size, your soldiers. He looked down at Max. But we didn't understand your strength. We didn't know that your greatest warriors don't speak with words. They speak with action, with loyalty, with love. He looked up, voice breaking. You brought dogs to a war. We brought monsters, and you still won. One alien soldier stepped forward. His arm was in a sling. He knelt in front of Titan, the giant. Dog growled at first, but then stopped. He looked into the alien's eyes and nodded. The alien reached out and touched Titan's paw, then bowed his head. More aliens followed. One by one, they knelt before the dogs. Not the humans. The dogs. Because they now understood these weren't animals. These were heroes. The moment was captured on dozens of cameras. Across human and alien media, the image went viral. Alien generals kneeling before Earth's war dogs. The galaxy watched, and the galaxy changed. Weeks later, peace talks began. Human commanders and alien leaders met at a neutral station. Nova sat beside the diplomats. She didn't bark. She didn't move. But every alien officer kept glancing at her. One whispered, "That's the white one. She ended our satellites." Another replied, "Don't make her angry." Back on Earth, statues were built. Not of soldiers. Not of tanks, but of dogs. Titan, Ghost, Max, Nova, Blitz, and Bear, each honored with their own memorial. A paw print carved into steel. A quote underneath, "They didn't fight for medals, they fought for us." Captain Reyes retired 6 months later. He opened a training school for dogs and handlers, where humans and aliens trained side by side. On the first day, an alien child nervously approached Max. "Can I pet him?" she asked. Reyes smiled. "Only if he says yes." Max looked up at her, wagged his tail, and gently licked her hand. The child giggled. Peace had begun. In alien history books, this war would be remembered by a new name: the silence before the howl. And every time an alien soldier heard a bark, they didn't feel fear. They felt respect, because they had learned the truth. You can break bones, you can crush weapons, but you can't defeat the bond between a human and their dog. And no one laughs at that ever again.